Well, history has been made here in San Diego as MLS officially takes over America's finest city. Plus, the Aztecs and the Tritons try and get in the NCAA tournament. We talk about it all coming up on the final quarter on CBS 8+.
The final quarter begins right now.
And welcome to the final quarter on CBS 8+. That's John Howard. That's Karthik Venkatraman. I'm Jake Garriani. Fellas, I think we had an idea of what SDFC was going to be. I think we had an idea of how much everyone was going to be on board. I don't know if we thought it would be this great. What a performance. What a debut we got up in LA. Karthik, you were there. John, you and I watched it with wide open eyes. I mean, let's start with you, Karthik, because you were there. What an atmosphere. What a debut. That was amazing, my friend.
Yeah, it was really cool just, being over there for that game. Obviously, Dignity Health Sports Park's a nice little stadium filled with Galaxy fans who were very excited coming off a year in which they watched their team win the MLS Cup, and they did the pregame ceremony for all of it. And guess what? As San Diego FC came in, ruined the party. I did see a lot of San Diego FC fans there. There was a row of them right in front of me. As soon as that first goal happened, they all stood up and cheered. And, well, it was pretty quiet from all the Galaxy fans from that point out. But what a scene it was, and, what a bang to start off the season for San Diego FC.
Yeah, and what I enjoyed, we talked about it last week, the Danish teammates on SDFC and Luca De La Torre both had some fun. All three of them had some fun with me when I asked them final score of the opening match. And, of course, all three of them predicted a win. The Danish teammates saying 3-1 win, and De La Torre saying a 1-0 win. Turned out the final score was 2-0, but it was riveting television because once they scored that first goal, suddenly the Galaxy switched the momentum, and the Galaxy was dominating possession of play for the final 20 minutes of the game. But that's what soccer is. You have this one goal lead, and then you're sitting on the edge of your seat. It was a great start for the team and a great start for MLS soccer in San Diego.
I think it was just a brilliant performance. I mean, look at all the supporters up there. San Diego was just instantly hooked. We knew this is a great soccer market, and we've seen it with things like the Wave selling out Snapdragon Stadium. But to have the highest level of soccer in our country, MLS, in San Diego with this great performance, Anders Dreyer with a brace, 2 goals in that game, and I thought we saw that Right to Dream Academy style in play, right? The high pressure that they wanted to put out there all game against Galaxy, which they did such a great job of, and I thought Chucky Lozano played well, your guy Luca De La Torre played really well, and of course Anders played great, putting the 2 in the net there, that one bar down. It was just so much fun. I couldn't look away. I was hooked on this game, and I thought everyone else was too. I mean, I was getting on Twitter or X, and I was seeing people texting me. This was the thing that everyone was talking about. It was so fun. And John, we'll get to the special we shot, but you mentioned in that special, it's been a long time, if ever, that we've really gotten to see a team build up from the ground here in San Diego. And for all of us to witness from day one, literally, to this first match and them winning it, I just thought it was such a special, special night, a special moment. And as I mentioned, I was hooked from the instant. I cannot wait for this MLS season. I am fully on board.
I think the style of play is what makes it so fun, right?
Like
people get to watch it. It's a very aggressive style of play, and it's really how they got their first goal, by pressing up on the goalkeeper. He had to make a pass that maybe he wasn't extremely comfortable with making, and then it's kind of botched in the back, and then just like that, Chucky Lozano comes up with the ball, gives it to Dreyer. But even that second goal was a thing of beauty, how they just flipped the field completely with the beautiful passing between Dreyer and Angel all the way down the field. That led to just a picture-perfect goal that really put the seal. As John said, the defense kind of looked a little soft down the stretch. You want to see probably less fouls, but that's probably going to come with the aggressive style that they play. But they did give up some free kick opportunities in that first game that they probably hope don't happen in the future, because some of those, were in some not great positions for them to be in defensively. But they came out unscathed out of it all. But I think defensively, they want to be a little sharper moving forward. But we saw, glimpses of what that offense could be. And they had, they didn't score more than 2, but they had other opportunities in the second half where they could have maybe put up up a couple of more. So, I mean, that team's looking pretty sharp. Their style of play is a lot of fun. I think San Diego's going to get hooked on this team immediately, and it's just going to keep carrying.
And really, that style of play is that Right to Dream Academy style, which obviously you're going to see more and more of as people start to come up through the Right to Dream Academy. It's so, cyclical what they have going on in this organization. We'll see what happens with St. Louis City SC, their upcoming match on March 1st, their home opener, because I think the Galaxy lacks some weapons in this game. They had injuries and all that stuff, but what a great first performance. And I was out at Sycuan today. I caught up with the team, and here's what head coach Mikey Varas had to say, plus the man with the brace, Anders Dreyer.
Momentum is a tricky thing, and we call it the flow here. So how does flow keep going in your direction? But all I do know is that we talk about it a lot in terms of training to training, week to week, and game to game, how we can impact the flow, the momentum of the game as much as possible.
Yeah, you can really feel the energy from the fans and the passion about now having a football team in San Diego. It's yeah, you can feel it, definitely. We can feel it out here, and as I say, we need that 12th man at home. The fans is our 12th man, and we're just looking forward so much to start our MLS season at home.
Anders talking about that 12th man, which will obviously be huge here on March 1st. You also heard head coach Mikey Varas talking about momentum. Can they use that first match as momentum going to this one? Has there been too much time? I tell you what helps momentum, John. A sold-out crowd, a huge crowd, that's for sure, which they're expecting at Snapdragon on March 1st.
Well, one thing we know about the San Diego fan base, if you put a winner on the field, there is no better fan base in the country. If it's not a winner, forget it. San Diegans have other things to do. What's interesting is San Diego Football Club sent out a press release saying they are anticipating a record crowd at Snapdragon, despite the fact that some season tickets are still available and single game tickets were available, at least prior to the game Sunday against the Galaxy. So how they can say a record-setting crowd is anticipated, even though tickets are available, it'll be very interesting to see. From what I know, I think the all-time record is 32,066, set by the San Diego Wave last year. I would certainly think and hope that an inaugural home opener for the MLS team in San Diego would break that record. It'll be interesting to see, and like these players of any sport know, when the fan is behind you, you take your play to another level. So it should be a great atmosphere there Saturday at Snapdragon.
The key word is expect, John.
Yes, we expect. We anticipate.
But I do think, to your point, it's going to be an unbelievable crowd. I mean, look who went up to L.A., let alone what you're going to see here. We'll see how that crowd carries out through the season, but March 1st will be bonkers. I mean, it will be absolutely nuts down there. Karthik, any final thoughts on SDFC and their first match or their upcoming match on the 1st?
I'm just really excited to see where this team goes. I think their style of play is going to be very fun to watch. Where the consistency will come, will teams pick up on this aggressive style of play? Will, early fouls while they try to get that flow and really become more of a cohesive team as this thing goes? Because, they've really just had the preseason to this point. They're not a, team that has existed for a long time, and we all know that because this is their first season. So just trying to figure out all the ebbs and flows and keep moving forward. We want to see that cohesiveness moving forward, and as you said and what Varas was saying, the momentum moving forward. So we'll see how that all plays out as the coming matches come along.
Yeah, I also think the schedule is friendly. Next schedule, St. Louis City. They're only in their second year in MLS. Last year, not very good. 8, 13, and 13. So after facing the MLS defending champs last week, they're getting to host a softer opponent this week. Should be a piece of cake. Easy 2-0 win.
I hope St. Louis doesn't see that, man. You might have given them their inspiration. Softer.
They're an interesting squad, though. They, expansion 2 years ago, did great in their first year, then a step back last year. I think one thing people will learn, new MLS fans, is this league has great parity. I mean, it's going to be a lot of great parity throughout. This is why you could see a team like SDFC step in and be successful right away, and St. Louis City SC step in and be successful right away, but then they take that step back. So we will see as everything comes together. Head coach Mikey Varas said it a few times. He goes, look, we'll take our licks. We're going to get punched in the face a few times. It's not going to be a perfect season. I promise we're not going to win every single match throughout this entire year. And we're all obviously caught up in the hype of beating the Galaxy, defending MLS Cup champs. But there will be times that this team does take that small step back. It's what you can do after, right? It's what you can do the next match and all that stuff. So can't wait to see this team take off in their inaugural year. And if you want to see more about how this was built. Check out our special right here on CBS 8 Plus, Beyond the Crest. Karthik Venkatraman, John Howard, and myself have followed this team literally since day one up until their first match, and they won that first match. We were there for it, as Karthik mentioned. We have all that on a wonderful 26-plus minute special on CBS 8 Plus. If you are watching us on YouTube right now, you download CBS 8 Plus on your TV, either Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, and stream that for us. I promise you will not be disappointed in that special we have for you. It was a wonderful time. I had a lot of fun shooting that with you two, and I think we've all enjoyed watching this thing build up, right?
Absolutely. From the ground level, it's been totally cool.
All right, a franchise that has been here for much longer than SDFC is a college hoops team that we have in town called the Aztecs. They're pretty good at basketball, and they proved it once again when they faced the number one team, at the time the number one team in the Mountain West in New Mexico, a team that they had lost to earlier in the year. All they did without, by the way, Magoon Guath was go out there and really dominate a game. I don't think the Lobos really felt they were in this game at any point. It was a really impressive performance for San Diego State. And in my opinion, massive when you talk about an at-large bid. I've been saying this whole time, I think if they lost that game to New Mexico, their at-large bid goes out the window. I know you guys have disagreed with me a little bit there, but this really helped it, in my opinion, winning against New Mexico.
Well, and I think one of the definite positives of this win was getting the win without Magoon Guath, because it takes away from the selection committee the idea that this team can't win without Magoon. And that might have been something that they may have discussed during conversations in the seedings meeting. Hey, they're losing their big man. Can they continue to win? And maybe that would be the thing that would take them out of an at-large berth. But with that win against New Mexico without Magoon, it takes away that excuse for the seedings committee to eliminate them.
I mean, we saw the best of the Aztecs. This is when they've been good, when they dictate the pace of play. They really get down on defense. New Mexico, a team that likes to run, really gets up shots quickly. And the Aztecs didn't allow them to do that for 40 minutes of a basketball game. Playing at home definitely helped, but this is not anything we saw the first time they played New Mexico, where they pretty much got run out the gym. I mean, halfway through the second half, I'm just going to be honest, I stopped watching that basketball game because it didn't really feel like San Diego State could really ever claw their way back in. But that's the kind of basketball you really want to see from the Aztecs. And as you guys mentioned, with no Magoon Guath, how good was Miles Heide with all the energy plays he brings? Pharaoh Compton, hey man, every single time that guy dunks or does whatever and just throws up his jersey or is just fist pumping, I love him, man. That guy brings so much energy. And Jared Coleman-Jones was otherworldly when he was playing. Had a little bit of Kevin Durant in him, had a little Kareem in him with the hook shots. I mean, if they can play like that, and I think it shows a lot of maturity from those guys. You know, guys that haven't consistently produced to step up in a big moment already against, the best team in the conference or has been all season long. Then you're without one of your best players who's been playing so well lately. It's huge. It's huge for all those guys to step up in a big way. Miles Bird, played a lot more consistently in that game. Nick Boyd has just been so fantastic as of late. And as you guys mentioned, what a big win when you talk about the at-large. It really punctuated making them more secure. I don't think they're completely secure, because the last thing you'd want to see this Aztecs team do is, flub it in one of their last regular season games, and then you maybe start having more questions. It was good they got that win. They got to take care of business for the rest of the regular season. I think if they get one more nice win in Mountain West Conference tournament play, they solidify their spot and probably don't have to play in that first 4 game in Dayton if they do something like that too. I think it would really, really put them at ease going. But I think there's got to still be a little tension, because some of the teams that are behind them, and, if you consider the last 4 in or the next 4 out, those are teams that play in major conferences. And what we know about teams in major conferences, they have more opportunities to pick up those quad 1 victories. It's not all set in stone for San Diego State. They're going to have to still finish the season out very strong.
Yeah, right now they're sitting 49 in the net rankings, but I think what you saw against New Mexico, to both your guys' points, was just a Brian Dutcher-led team. People do not get on the floor for Brian Dutcher if you do not play great defense and you are not a big-time player, and that's what you saw. Like Jared Coleman-Jones all season long he averaged 7 points coming into this. He hasn't needed to be that guy, and then when he needs to be that guy, he became that guy. Same with Miles Heide.
It was his defense, too. The block shots that he had.
Yeah.
It was everything.
You're not touching the floor if you don't play defense for Brian Dutcher, right? So a huge win for the Aztecs. And more good news for San Diego State today. If you consider, you consider this great news, I think, if you're an Aztecs fan, when you hear from one of their better players, Miles Bird. This was brought to us by Aztecs All In. Bird talking about whether he would enter a transfer portal if he decides not to go to the NBA next season.
If I'm going to come back, no portal for me. If I'm coming back to college, I'm coming back to SDSU. and so you'll just figure out the other stuff after.
I mean, maybe do pre-draft and stuff with my agency and see where that takes me and stuff. But right now, all I care about is how we finish out this year and where we seed ourselves come March.
Did you want to say something?
You go ahead, John.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is I think this is wonderful news. He's going to get some experience in NBA camps, but I do not think Miles Byrd is going to get drafted into the NBA. And it's nice to know that if he doesn't get drafted, he goes back to school. It's going to be at San Diego State. I have found one of the frustrating things since the transfer portal has started. We can no longer anticipate next year's team. You look at this year's team and all the young players on the Aztecs and you think, oh, next year's going to be awesome. We don't know if next year's going to be awesome because we don't know if players like Miles Byrd or Magoon Guath are going to leave the program, much like Lamont Butler did last year. So it's great to hear Miles Byrd say this. I don't think he's going to get drafted, which means I think he will be back at San Diego State next season.
Yeah, John, it's all about that NIL money too, right? If these other schools can start offering guys like a Magoon Guath or a Taj DeGorville maybe even, or Miles Byrd, if they're looking to come back, that could sway some guys. So this is really big for the Aztecs that Miles Byrd says that he's coming back. As you said, I don't think he ends up going pro. He'd be a fringe second-round pick if he goes. I think he has a lot to work on with consistency in his game. That'll end up leading him to come back. He'll definitely test out the waters. And if he comes back, if he is able to play consistent, this is a guy that could be the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year next year. He's shown glimpses of it this year when he was really kind of picking it up at the beginning of the year. So if he's able to come back and, he does come back, which I think is all likeliness, San Diego State could have the ringer on their team next year in conference play.
Yeah, his athleticism is unbelievable. You saw it in the New Mexico game, the Boyd to Bird alley-oop, the one-handed slam. He's got every trait to be an NBA player, but to your point, Karthik, just got to refine some things. I think he has the ability to play in that league or at least get a shot in that league. Now, probably not that time. So, yes, again, great to see that he would be coming back to San Diego State. And we've heard a couple people say that. Obviously, Reese Waters being another who's going to redshirt this year, but he says he's coming back to San Diego State as well. So, at least some key pieces you can look forward to next season for the Aztecs. But as Miles said, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got the rest of this season. This looks like it very much could be a tournament team once again. A team that's looking to get into the tournament for the very first time ever in their school's history, on the other hand, would be the UCSD Tritons. And boy, are they rolling. They now lead the Big West after UC Irvine lost to CSUN. Tritons getting ready to face CSUN. Fellas, this may be a very, very real thing that the Tritons make the NCAA tournament. Your guys' thoughts on just what UCSD has done, and they're sitting well above the Aztecs in the net ranking right now.
I think it's just really cool that they now control their own destiny to win the Big West regular season title. How cool is that for the Tritons? How quickly has this program come up from where they were to now at the Division I level, now able to compete in the postseason too, and just playing like an NCAA tournament team, whether they win their conference tournament, whether they don't. I believe this is an NCAA tournament team just from the eye test. It is incredible what they've been able to accomplish now in the driver's seat to win the regular season title. After that last game against UC Irvine, very much looking like the favorite to win the Big West Conference title. And I think, bracketologists have them as that too, because they have them as the automatic qualifier, not only because they're leading in their conference, but even when them and UC Irvine were tied at the top, they had UC San Diego as the team that would come out as the AQ. And not only would they be coming in as like a low seed, which you see sometimes with these teams that come out of their conferences, the mid-major conferences, some people has them as an 11. And if they were to win their conference tournament, I think 11 is a very high possibility. And, if everything goes their way with how well they've been playing, they might even get a 10. This team just looks so good, and the way that they're able to score in a flurry, the way they play defense, I couldn't be more excited to keep watching this Tritons team. They're just playing such great basketball right now.
Yeah, very entertaining to watch if you haven't seen them. They're 24-4, 14-2 in conference play, and I certainly hope that if they make it to the conference championship game and lose, possibly to Irvine, I certainly hope they would still get an at-large, because I think this is an NCAA tournament team that could very much surprise some people. We're familiar with them out here on the West Coast, but I think anybody east of Denver has no clue what a Triton is, much less the program at UC San Diego. By the way, if you have thoughts of going out to Las Vegas for the Mountain West or the Big West tournament, the Mountain West Conference Championship game, which hopefully will feature the Aztecs, is 3 p.m. Saturday, 3.5 hours later is the Big West Championship game at a different venue, but you could take in the Aztecs and the Tritons same afternoon in conference tournament championship games. Pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, you do really wonder, John. I think you asked Eric Olin this one of the last times you talked to him. If, by some bad reason the Tritons do lose in, let's say, the Big West Championship game, right? These things happen. Could the Big West possibly be a two-team in the NCAA tournament? It's hard to, fathom, I guess, because it's the Big West, which I don't mean to slight the Big West, but, will the NCAA tournament put two Big West teams in it? And that's my fear, right? Your automatic answer is no, and I think most people around the country's automatic answer is absolutely not will the Big West get two teams in there. So I would find a lot of frustration if the Tritons, let's say, win out and they have this great season and they do lose in the Big West Championship game and then they don't get in because, to your point, Karthik, you've mentioned multiple times, some other big conference name gets in. That would be so frustrating after a season like that.
That would just show me the selection committee that hasn't watched UC San Diego play. Except maybe the UC Irvine game, which would just be... I don't know. We'll get into that if that ends up happening. But
I'm not trying to put that out in the universe.
It would just be insane to me. I mean, this is. Hey, selection committee, if you ever watch us on CBS Streaming Plus, you better watch the Tritons some more, man.
I tell you one thing, I would certainly think and hope if that happened, it would be a motivated Triton team going into the NIT and maybe making a run to the Final Four.
I don't want to even talk about the NIT, man.
Come on.
NCAA tournament or bust this season, man. This team's too good.
Into the NIT.
I don't want to see the NIT. I feel deflated if I ended up in the NIT after this season.
Jake was the one that broached the topic, and there's no way the Tritons would turn down an invitation to the NIT if they didn't get the invite.
Why are we talking about the NIT?
NCAA tournament or bust.
I brought it up to put the committee on blast, not to talk about the NIT that absolutely nobody cares about. The committee better put two teams in if the Tritons somehow, let's just not even, the Tritons will go win the tournament. It won't be a problem.
Take care of business.
It's our jobs to throw some topics on the table.
They'll get some buys in the tournament too because they're going to be, they're likely going to be the one seed at this point. So,
yes.
It'll be very, very favorable for them to get into the tournament, but we'll see how this one shakes out, I suppose.
Would love to see it.
Big game against CSUN. I mean, if they win that game against CSUN, it should be nice cruising for the Tritons there. Before we let you go, we've been talking a lot of SDFC, but the San Diego Waves start their season in early March. And Karthik, you got a little something to show off here from the San Diego Wave, right? The new kit coming in.
Jerseys for the season. How cool are these, y'all? They're pretty sick.
March 16th, the San Diego Wave will take on Angel City FC to open the NWSL season. It has not been a good stretch for the San Diego Wave. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or lie. They had problems at the top of their organization. They had a change in coach. They watched Naomi Girma and a couple other big stars leave, traded away, sold to other teams. They did get a bigger name coming in, a Canadian superstar, but Adriana Leon. But I think, this is a good year for the Wave to reestablish themselves, right? And I'm looking forward to them coming back in and playing some good soccer.
They had played so well the season prior to that, too. And honestly, in all their years they've been here, and last year was the first time of trials and tribulations in which they didn't have a sharp of a season. But you'd assume they get back on track and get this thing going. And, that's what we hope to see. And I guess we'll find out as mid-March rolls around.
Yeah, and they'll look good doing it. It's a pretty nice looking kit right there. I like the color scheme.
One more time.
It's hard to lose a Jaden Shaw and an Alex Morgan and a Naomi Girma and feel great about yourself, but the San Diego Wave are going to have to do it. Hopefully Adriana Leon helps with that stuff, but nice kits either way, to your point, John, that they're going to look good doing it. And you two always look good on CBS 8 Plus. You'll look just as good next week when we return. Thank you, as always, for joining us here on the CBS 8 Plus streaming platform. If you have not watched it, please click right on over to Beyond the Crest SDFC special right here on CBS 8 Plus. Otherwise, we will see you right here next week. Fellas, as always, send them off.
Bye.
We'll see you.